Well, folks, it's official. Apple's October event has been confirmed for 1 week from today, October 13th, 2020. So in today's video, we're going to talk about everything that we're expecting, some things that we don't quite know, and quite a few things that are still yet to come. Let's jump into it. So before we get started, I want to give you guys some information about what you can expect in terms of my coverage of this event. So just like we did on September 15th, we are going to be going live on October 13th, an hour before the event kicks off, both here on YouTube and on Twitch. You'll find that linked in the description below if you want to follow me there. We will still be broadcasting during the keynote, we just won't be embedding the keynote in our live stream. We'll give some cues to help you guys sync it up if you want to open the stream in another browser tab or something like that. And then we'll also be live afterwards to talk about everything that was announced. We'll have more details for you guys on October 13th and over on Twitter at Luke Miani. So make sure to stay tuned, get subscribed, follow on Twitch, follow at Luke Miani. Let's jump into the video. So let's start by talking about what we do know. And the most obvious point is that this event is going to be the iPhone 12 reveal event. That is exciting news because we've been waiting quite a while for that. 2020 is the first time since 2011 that the iPhone didn't launch in September, or at least get announced in September. That has been a staple of Apple's yearly event lineup for the past 8 years, but 2020 is obviously throwing all of us for a ringer here, and this event is no different. So let's touch briefly on the iPhone 12. Basically what we're looking at is an iPhone 12 6.1 inch and an iPhone 12 mini. That's the new name that has come out somewhat recently. We thought originally that it was going to be iPhone 12 and then iPhone 12 Max, but it seems like the 6.1 inch iPhone 12 is just going to be iPhone 12. And then below that you have iPhone 12 mini at a 5.4 inch display, $699 starting price. That device I'm actually really excited for. And then we can step it up to the 6.1 and 6.7 inch iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max. Those are expected to upgrade with probably the frosted back design. We're probably gonna get the triple camera setup with ultra wide and telephoto, as well as adding LiDAR sensors. They're also expected to be able to shoot 4K at 240 FPS. Not sure if that feature is going to be on the normal 12 and 12 mini, but one thing that is going to be true across the board is that we are finally going to be getting OLED screens on all devices, even if they are all 60 Hz, as it seems Apple wasn't able to get ProMotion exactly the way they wanted it for this year. So if ProMotion is a deal breaker, you're gonna skip this year and buy the 2021 iPhone 13. If they call it that. Maybe iPhone 12s, who knows. The notch is going to stay the same size on all of these iPhone 12s except for the iPhone 12 mini, where it will be shrinking, which I suppose makes sense because a smaller display means a normal size notch would look freakishly large. So it is going to be getting smaller on the iPhone 12 mini, but apparently not on the other iPhone 12 models. I've said this before, I don't really care about the size of the notch. It's either there or it's not. Really, the only change to the notch that matters is when it eventually goes away. I don't care if it's smaller by a little bit. What I am expecting to change is the thickness of the bezels. Now, these have not changed since 2017, at least on the higher end Pro devices. Then you've got, the iPhone XR and the iPhone 11, which have even larger bezels than those, but this year I do expect the bezels to shrink. Now, some of the proof for this has come in this. This is an iPhone 12 case from case maker Taurus, and this is my iPhone XS, which is the exact same footprint as an 11 Pro Max, and you'll notice that it almost fits perfectly inside the iPhone 12 case. The thickness is very close. Some of the button layouts don't quite match up, like the volume and the mute switch don't match up. Obviously, there's quite a large space here where the camera module is expected to be, and the XS/11 Pro is actually a little bit shorter. You can see it kind of wiggling up and down in the case, but it's a very, very similar footprint. However, we are expecting that the iPhone 12 Max, the Pro Max, will have a 6.7-inch display compared to 6.5. So you can expect a lot of that screen gain to happen within the same footprint on these phones, which equates to smaller bezels. That I'm looking forward to. So what else are we expecting at this event? Well, nothing is really confirmed. The only thing that we really know for sure is that it's gonna have to be the iPhone 12 event, but there are credible reports suggesting that we'll also see AirTags, perhaps a new HomePod and HomePod Mini, as well as AirPods Studio launching at this event. Now, all three of those things seem pretty exciting. We've heard a lot about AirTags, so we don't need to get into those. They're pretty simple. It's just like, you know, a little tag that can track your stuff. You kind of get the idea. As for the new HomePod, we can expect mainly an internal change, so hopefully better sound quality as well as an A10 chip to power the thing. We're also expecting a HomePod Mini, which could be smaller and less expensive. Kind of logical. I don't expect this to take more than a couple of minutes if this gets announced at all. What I think could be more interesting are AirPods Studio. Now, this was something that we didn't know for sure whether it was going to be, you know, a press release announcement like AirPods Pro, or if it was going to show up at an actual event. Now, personally, I was pretty surprised when AirPods Pro were released via a press release. Given the popularity of AirPods, I would have thought that they would want some stage time to talk about that, but evidently that didn't happen, and I suppose it's possible that AirPods Studio could come out after this October event, depending on how full it is. However, given what we've heard, it seems likely that AirPods Studio will be unveiled at the event on October 13th. AirPods Studio would be over-ear true wireless headphones. There are no buttons, they have reversible cups, an aluminum design, U1 ultra-wideband chip for location and spatial audio, and in theory they would start at around $349. Now, those seem pretty interesting. I'm not sure how the no buttons system would work. Most likely there will be some sort of touch control, sort of gesture-based control system that would use the surface of the ear cups as a place to use those gestures. I think that could potentially be interesting. I mean, if you think about it, it would be kind of like having two trackpads on your ears. So that could be cool. Apple is very good at gestures, and I have to say, I don't like the whole clicking the stems of the AirPods because they're in your ear and it's kind of awkward, but having larger surfaces to maybe do like two-finger swipe to skip, scroll up and down for volume, something like that, that could be pretty interesting. Another product that we could expect updates for at the October event is the Apple TV. Now, here's the problem that I currently have with Apple TV. I don't think you really need one. I have a $400 Samsung TV that's literally right over there, just off camera, and for 400 bucks, that thing has every streaming service under the sun, including Apple TV, and it also has AirPlay, so there's that functionality already taken care of. Why would I add an Apple TV to that? If it's only going to be useful for smart TV functionality, I don't really feel like I need to spend a couple $100 on an Apple TV to get that. So what does this have to do with a new Apple TV? Well, apparently Apple TV is going to be shifting its focus to gaming. As we know, Apple Arcade has been out for a little while now, but apparently Apple Arcade is going to be seeing an increased focus, and the Apple TV is going to be one of the areas where that money is being put into. Rumors are suggesting that a new Apple TV could feature a variant of the A12 chip or one with an A14X-like chip. This would be interesting because those are some seriously beefy internals which suggest that Apple could be focusing the Apple TV on basically like a Nintendo Switch competitor. There's also information suggesting that there could be a new Apple-designed game controller that could be an accessory for this new, beefier Apple TV. So I think that could be interesting. Apple basically developing a little game console. That's something we haven't seen before. So iPhone 12, AirPods Studio, perhaps a HomePod, and Apple TV with a focus on gaming. That's what we are expecting for the October 13th event. Obviously, none of that is set in stone, and there are in fact a few more products that are sort of up in the air at this point. The first one that you may have noticed is that I didn't talk about Apple Silicon Macs. That was something that we've expected in October, even before the iPhone 12 got pushed back as well. And quite frankly, this event already seems pretty full. If we're gonna spend a couple of minutes right off the bat talking about iPhone 12, and by a couple of minutes I mean probably like 45 minutes, maybe even an hour, then it's feasible that you could fill 45 minutes talking about a gaming Apple TV, HomePod, and AirPods Studio. That seems like a pretty full event just on its own. So where does that leave Apple Silicon Macs? Well, I suppose it's possible there could be a one more thing at the end of this event, which could be Apple Silicon Macs. So we'll really have to wait to find out, but there has also been information to suggest that Apple Silicon Macs could launch in November, potentially at yet another event. Now, this is not something that we've had before. I don't think there has ever been a November or even a December Apple event. There have been some launches, like for example, the iMac Pro and the 2013 and 2019 Mac Pro. Both of those launched in December. We've also had another product launch in November, which was the 16-inch MacBook Pro last year. So it's not uncharacteristic of Apple to necessarily release products in that late of a time frame, but it seems like Apple Silicon is the type of thing that you'd want an event for, and we've never had that. Now, the other thing that we are also expecting, and some people are saying could be moved up to October or November, is a new iPad Pro with mini LED displays, as well as an A14X Bionic chip. Now, this is another situation where the timing is really unprecedented. Now, the iPad Pro, the 2018 version, came out at an October event in 2018, and we had a minor refresh earlier this year, so it's possible that there could be a new iPad Pro at the October event, maybe as a one more thing in place of Apple Silicon, but we don't have any leaks or actual foundational evidence to suggest that that's going to happen. The conventional wisdom has been that the iPad Pro would come out somewhere around March of 2021, but it seems like it might be ready sooner than that. So it's possible that it could come out via press release later in October. I personally am skeptical about both Apple Silicon Macs and an iPad Pro coming next week, especially with the event looking as full as it is. But really, the only thing that we can do now is wait and see. But regardless of what unfolds at the event next week, rest assured there is going to be plenty to talk about. I mean, 4 models of iPhone 12, HomePods, we've got AirPods Studio, a new Apple TV, AirTags, the iPad Air is going to actually have to come out at some point. There's a new iPad Pro that's coming, I guess, somewhat soon. We've got Apple Silicon Macs. There's going to be a new 16-inch MacBook Pro probably in November. Like, holy moly, that's a lot of stuff. So rest assured, I'm going to be talking about all of it. Subscribe, follow on Twitch if you want to see coverage of the October 13th event, which you probably do. So buckle up, because it's going to be a fun ride. As usual, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter @LukeMiani. And don't forget to check out my subreddit, which is linked down below. And with that, I will see you all in the next video.